Barry Gibb was born on September 1, 1946, in Douglas on the Isle of Man, the eldest of the three brothers who would later become the heart of the Bee Gees. From the very beginning, music was woven into his life, not as a distant dream, but as a daily presence. Raised in a working-class, music-loving family, Barry showed an early instinct for melody, harmony, and storytelling. When the Gibb family moved to Manchester, England, Barry and his younger twin brothers, Robin and Maurice, began experimenting with songs and harmonies that hinted at something extraordinary. Later, their move to Redcliffe, Queensland, Australia, proved pivotal. Performing together on local television and at community events, Barry gradually emerged as a natural leader, guiding the group's sound while encouraging his brothers' individual strengths. Even then, what set Barry apart was not just talent, but persistence. He was driven by an unshakable belief that music could be more than passion. It could be a lifelong calling shared with his brothers. From early success to global breakthrough. By the mid-1960s, Barry and his brothers returned to England with sharpened skills and growing confidence. Rebranded as the Bee Gees, their breakthrough came quickly, driven by Barry's emotionally rich songwriting and the group's distinctive harmonies. Songs like New York Mining Disaster 1941 to Love Somebody and Massachusetts captured a depth uncommon in pop music of the time. Barry's voice, earnest and expressive, anchored these songs, while Robin's vibrato-heavy lead vocals added a haunting emotional layer. The brothers' chemistry felt natural yet powerful, giving their music an authenticity that resonated across generations. Behind the scenes, however, success brought pressure. Barry often carried the responsibility of direction and decision-making, a role that came with both respect and tension. Still, during this period, the Bee Gees were unified by ambition and belief. They were not just chasing hits. They were building an identity rooted in harmony, vulnerability, and songwriting that spoke honestly about love, loss, and longing, reinvention, and the sound of a generation. What truly defined Barry Gibb's genius was his ability to adapt without losing authenticity. When musical tastes shifted in the early 1970s, many artists faded. But Barry led the Bee Gees through one of the most remarkable reinventions in pop history. Embracing rhythm-driven arrangements and a higher vocal register, Barry's falsetto became the signature sound of a new era. The release of the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack in 1977 changed everything. Songs like Stayin' Alive, Night Fever, and How Deep Is Your Love dominated charts worldwide, turning the Bee Gees into cultural icons. Barry's songwriting during this time was precise yet emotional, combining danceable grooves with heartfelt lyrics. Though disco later faced backlash, history has been kind to Barry's work, recognizing it as innovative and influential. His contributions redefined pop production, harmony, and vocal performance, leaving a blueprint that artists still follow today. Songwriter beyond the Bee Gees, Barry Gibb's influence extended far beyond his own group. As a songwriter and producer, he demonstrated a rare ability to write songs that perfectly matched an artist's emotional range and vocal character. His work with Barbra Streisand on Guilty, including Woman in Love, showcased his gift for dramatic, emotionally resonant melodies. With Diana Ross, he crafted Chain Reaction, blending soul and pop with timeless appeal. Islands in the Stream, written for Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton, became one of the most successful duets in music history, proving Barry's versatility across genres. He later collaborated with Celine Dion on Immortality, a song that carried the same emotional sincerity found in his earliest work. Barry never wrote to chase trends, he wrote to serve emotion. That commitment to feeling over fashion is why his songs endure, continuing to connect deeply with audiences decades after their release. Love, marriage, and personal grounding. Away from the spotlight, Barry Gibb's personal life provided stability that many artists never find. His first marriage, to Maureen Bates in 1966, took place during a period of intense ambition and uncertainty. The pressures of a rapidly rising career eventually strained the relationship, and the marriage ended in 1970. Shortly after, Barry married Linda Gray, who would become his lifelong partner and emotional anchor. Their marriage, spanning more than 5 decades, stands as a rare example of endurance in the entertainment world. Together, they raised 5 children and built a life centered on family rather than fame. Linda supported Barry through the dizzying highs of superstardom and the devastating losses that followed later in life. Barry has often credited her with keeping him grounded, protecting him from the darker sides of fame. Their quiet life in Florida reflects a shared desire for peace, privacy, and connection beyond the stage. A brotherhood marked by tension and love. The relationship between Barry and his brother Robin was complex, shaped by both deep affection and creative rivalry. Barry has often described Robin as sensitive, poetic, and emotionally driven, qualities that made his voice unforgettable. Yet those same traits sometimes led to misunderstandings and conflict, particularly during periods of intense fame. Creative disagreements occasionally escalated into emotional distance, with Maurice often acting as the mediator between his brothers. Despite these struggles, Barry never doubted Robin's talent. Songs like "I Started a Joke" and "Massachusetts" remain enduring proof of Robin's emotional power as a vocalist. Over time, Barry came to understand that their differences were not weaknesses, but sources of strength. The tension between them fueled creativity, even when it caused personal pain. Beneath every disagreement was a bond forged in childhood, strengthened by shared dreams and sustained by a love that never truly disappeared. Loss, reflection, and regret. The death of Maurice Gibb in 2003 marked a turning point in Barry and Robin's relationship, forcing them to confront how fragile life truly was. Though the loss briefly brought them closer, it also highlighted years of unresolved emotion. When Robin passed away in 2012 after a long illness, Barry was left as the sole surviving Bee Gee, carrying not only the legacy but also the weight of memory. Barry has spoken openly about the loneliness that followed, describing moments when silence felt heavier than applause. He has admitted regret over words left unsaid and time lost to pride. Yet he also speaks with gratitude, recognizing how rare it was to share a lifetime of music with his brothers. In Robin's final days, moments of quiet understanding replaced old conflicts. Those moments, Barry says, brought peace, allowing him to remember their journey not with bitterness, but with love. Carrying the legacy alone. Today, Barry Gibb continues to perform, not out of obligation, but devotion. When he steps onto the stage, he does so with the sense that his brothers are still present, woven into every harmony and lyric. Albums like In the Now and Greenfields reveal a more reflective artist, one who understands that legacy is not just about success, but about meaning. Greenfields, released in 2021, reimagined classic Bee Gees songs through a country lens, featuring artists such as Dolly Parton and Alison Krauss. Rather than revisiting the past, Barry reframed it, showing how timeless songwriting can transcend genre. Each performance now feels like a tribute, a way of keeping his brothers' voices alive. For Barry, music has become both memory and healing, a place where loss and love coexist, and where harmony continues even in absence. The harmony that never fades. At this stage in his life, Barry Gibb speaks not as a pop icon, but as a brother reflecting on a shared journey. He no longer measures success by charts or awards, but by the connection music still creates between people. He has said that the Bee Gees will always be 3, regardless of time or loss. Robin and Maurice live on in the songs, in the harmonies that once filled small rooms and later stadiums around the world. Barry's reflections remind listeners that behind legendary music are real relationships, shaped by love, conflict, forgiveness, and growth. In telling his story with honesty and humility, Barry offers something rare, a reminder that even amid fame and heartbreak, family remains the deepest harmony of all. And as long as the music plays, the voices of the Bee Gees will never truly fade.